Alright gang, and here we are with the figures. A couple of Transformers all assembled here. We have Bumblebee, of course, Elita 1, and we have Kickback here. Really cool sets of figures. Been enjoying the Legacy line. I'm glad that it's a nice continuation off from the Siege line. Of course, Buzzworthy Bumblebee was kind of like a little side line, I guess, to the War for Cybertron series. So that's always been pretty good. A lot of those figures do tend to mesh pretty well with WFC figs, so that's really cool. I've had these for quite a while, been wanting to open them. Let's get into this right now. So we're gonna just start with Bumblebee, I think. So put these guys aside. Now here we are, the bee himself. So you have this plastic windowless packaging that they sort of have come out with, you know, trying to save the environment, I imagine is the goal. Yet you know, here we are with still some leftover plastic just kind of rummaging about, but it is what it is. And here we have tons of little sweet pieces of art from, I guess, all the different iterations of him from, I guess, I don't really know, this must be the new show for him. I recognize this maybe from comic. This one looks even more old school. I really like that. But yeah, at the back shows what he comes with. So let's just skip all this formalities and we'll just get right into the unboxing. So first off, we're gonna I don't have my cutting device handy right now, so I'm picking off the tape like a caveman. But we're just gonna do that the old-fashioned way. Oh, more tape. Oh, who cares? Whatever. We're not keeping the box anyways, hey? We're just gonna get right into this guy. We're gonna take him out of here. That's not a problem. Whoa, here we go. Okay, out of the box, fresh as they come. Here's his instructions, and I guess that's like the product thing. We don't need this anymore. Toss that out of here. And here are the instructions. So this will help guide us through the transformation. So we don't need that at the moment. Here he is, a couple accessories. You can see that they did finally get rid of these little tiny plastic things and replaced it with some twine or something. I don't really know what that is, but definitely, yeah, definitely a better choice. You know, shit gets stuck in things, right? You know, less plastic in, you know, the environment, the better. You know, we don't have all those microplastics. You know, I'll probably cut this. Yeah. Oh no, wait. Maybe I just have to get rid of the tape. Yeah. I was going to save this figure to open with that new Jazz they just announced. There's that Origin Jazz. It looks like an amazing figure. Fits in really well with the Siege line figures as well. So, as you guys know, most of my collection comprises pretty much just the Siege line sort of Cybertronian looking mode for the robot mode, which I really quite like. It's been probably one of my favorite little eras to kind of go with. I have an idea for my own stop motion, which I want to set it kind of in the fictional 2005 era from the Transformers movie. So having them in sort of futuristic alt modes will actually pretty well benefit. Holy shit, this is tough. Man, are you kidding me? There's gotta be an easier way. You know, I wanted to open them together in a video, but I just really can't wait. I've been wanting to open this one for a while, and it could still be a while before that Jazz shows up. It's been hard. I've been looking at stores around this new town I moved to. It's a very remote town, and yeah, it's just not easy for stuff to show up. But here we have the Bumblebee in hand. Let's get a closer look. All right. Okay, yeah, this is excellent. Now, I did used to have the Cliff Jumper figure for a little bit. I made a little quick short, if you guys ever watched that. It's on my Instagram. But that was a cool figure. I was trying for a long time to find the Bumblebee equivalent to that one, but never ended up coming across it, and then eventually decided that, you know, I only wanted to collect sort of the Cybertronian, sort of futuristic looking modes of all these characters. So I ended up scrapping him and whoa! What's going on? Yeah, so I decided to go with this instead, or with the Cybertronian mode. So I ended up trading him in And yeah, I came across this Bumblebee. I thought it would be really badass, and it is. I actually just like the proportions of it too, quite a lot. The Cliff Jumper was a pretty like thick looking figure, and I like the idea of Bumblebee sort of being the scrappier character, in the series, and I sort of want him to play like the youngest kind of character in the teams. So I think that this kind of depiction of him looks really good and will look really, really nice alongside some of these other guys, which we'll do some comparisons later, so you guys can kind of see that. And then hopefully when we do eventually get Jazz, we can pull them out again and do some more comparison. But yeah, there's quite a lot of motion on this. Sorry, I've been talking about all this other crap, but first impression wise, like, this guy has a lot of character, a lot of movement. He's got the ankle rocking. There's a bit of kibble, as you can see here, but nothing too much to complain about. Maybe my one thing would be that I wish that maybe this little square part could have been tucked in somehow, just so it's not so square right behind his head. But outside of that, it's still pretty smooth and it doesn't stick out too much. So yeah, I quite like that. Alright, let's check out some of these accessories. Alright, and here we have him equipped with a couple of his accessories. These Energon rods or whatever, I just kind of shoved them under his arm. They don't really fit in his hand, which is kind of unfortunate, but because they have this like sort of thick end on it, and that's fine, I guess. So you can kind of just shove them under his arm like this in a big bunch. And that kind of looks cool, I guess. It's just kind of scattered. He's grabbing it and on his way out, and then here's his jetpack on the back, which makes his little kibble backpack even larger. But I would say that it does actually. It actually doesn't look too bad. Like, it kind of adds to the chunkiness of him a bit here, and then here's that gun, which he's got the wrist articulation like that, so you can kind of have him go. You can have this bend down and go pa-doo, pa-doo. I feel like this is a really good offer from Hasbro for a Bumblebee. Yeah, I mean, if you like the ancient era of Transformers, then this is probably right up your alley as well. So yeah, really, really cool. We'll do a little transformation here in a bit, and we'll see what his alt mode looks like. That's kind of the main kind of difference between this kind of version of Bumblebee and sort of Volkswagen version. So then we'll get to see him stack up with the rest of his guys. So yeah, just stick with me. We're gonna pop open some of those other figures first, and we'll come back to this guy. Alright, and here's Elita 1. She looks pretty cool. I love the Legacy box art. Looks very, very very retro, futuristic, my usual favorite kind of style. Don't mind the rumbling, that's just the train going by. Just kind of shakes the entire house on occasion. It gets louder and louder whenever I record. So just, ignore that. But yeah, here we got another windowless box. Of course, this is made of plastic this time, so I guess that's a little step back, step forward, whatever. I don't really care. But yeah, this is another figure I've had on ice for some time now, and I'm finally getting a chance to kind of crack her open. So we're just gonna go right into this. No waiting this time. I know sometimes I tend to like waffle on while the box is just like sitting here in front of us. But no, I'm actually gonna be proactive in this video and just get right to the meat and potatoes of things. Right. So we'll just kind of slide her out. Okay. Don't need that. Let's shove that back in there. Can actually probably get rid of this entirely. And then we pop her up. Ooh, I quite like this backing here. It's kind of nice. Yeah. So one thing I do really like about the Transformers line is they've had consistently really good little box inserts. The only thing about this particular one, like the Studio Series does it right because it's just a back insert, but the problem with these ones is, like there's like little holes in it and stuff, which kind of basically, ruins it in a way. But otherwise, like if this wasn't like stuck in there like that, then it'd be a nice little backdrop you could you could display her on the shelf with. But I feel like it's the reason that they're incorporating her into this is because they're trying to get rid of the clamshell, which is less plastic, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all that stuff. So we'll pop her out, hands first. Oh, look at that. Yeah, leg first, front. Pull that out. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Here we go. Almost there. And we've done it. We've done it again. These things, don't need those. Yeah, a little satchel bag. This must be where her little accessories come from. But yeah, we'll just slide all that aside. Stick that there. I mean, it still looks pretty cool from far away. I quite like that. And here's her accessories, or not her accessories, but her instructions. We'll take our first impressions of Elita 1. Whoa, this thing's kind of a little wonky here. I guess that needs to be adjusted. Huh. This is a little messed up right now, hey? Wonder how this is supposed to go. Oh god. I think it's like that. That must be it. Oh yeah, there we go. This goes down maybe? I don't know. How does this fit nicely in here? There we go. I think that's maybe how it goes. I think this is good. Okay, it says here that it's supposed to be sticking straight up, but I'll be honest, I think I kind of like it down like that. I mean, that looks smooth, you know? It's like a little bit of a backpack, but I feel like that's a little more cohesive for the design than having these things just sticking up over her head. But yeah, there we go. I got the head articulation. This, I would say, is probably one of the best designed female Transformer figurines. I've had a few over the years. I almost had the entire set of the her crew, right? The ones that came out during, half of them came out during the Combiner Wars, and then the other half came out in the Siege line. So I had most of those, but they weren't really that great looking figures. Like, they were cool, and I liked having the completed. I liked having the near completed team. I never got the Elita 1 that was like the centerpiece for the Combiner. The original Elita 1 that turns into a jet or whatever, and you can plug it all in. It was really expensive because I was looking for it after the fact. But, you know, in a way, I'm kind of glad that I held out, because I even ended up holding out for the Netflix version of her too. That was something that was really difficult to find, just like that Bumblebee that came out. Never saw it in store anywhere until this one started popping up around. So once they announced this one, it was all of a sudden I could see hundreds of them popping up. But yeah, I mean, this right here is just leagues above all those other female ones. Even the Chromia figure that came out, which I'll pull out a Chromia maybe to compare. But no, like, look, you got wrist articulation, which is it's really unique to this one. And I think the big sell on this is just the thick legs, because to be honest, like, most Transformers have the big chunky legs, right? But they never really did that as much for the female Transformers, outside of ones that just look you know, like more masculine anyways, like what's that one from the new Velocitron one? Like, you know, that character you could look at and be like, oh, that might be just a male Transformer. There's not really a discerning femininity to it as much. I guess like these days, like, femininity and masculinity, all that stuff is kind of up in the air with people. But I mean, I'm just like, I just, you know, I'm not gonna get into that fucking debate right now. But right here we do have a really great offering from Hasbro, and I dig this. Like, this thing is just on there with just a single hinge. That's kind of funny. But yeah, like, I think these big blocky legs really complement the figure well, and yeah, it just gives it that stability too. Like, that's another thing with the Chromia and other figures on that buck. Like, you just don't get the stability in the legs like this right here has, you know, which I really like, and I think it's been missing from a lot of figures. But yeah, you get what looks like a decent little ankle rocker here too, which is part of the transformation. But yeah, this is a great figure. Let's check out these accessories. It's in this little treasure box. Oh, look at all this cool stuff. Oh. Alright, so we got two pretty cool looking translucent guns. Guess she wields those. Wonder if do these connect together, make a really big gun, or no? I don't think they do. Unless you, I guess you could do that. There you go. One really big gun. If you want, do it the other way too. One really big gun, and then there's this strange little nugget. I don't really know what this is for. Kind of looks like the top of her head. Maybe it's just like a little bomb thing. Maybe stick that on here. It's one of her tools. Yeah, it could be a tool maybe. You know, I like that. Like I said, I always appreciate when the Autobots come with tools and stuff, you know, because they are not really, they're not military hardware the way Decepticons are, so it makes sense if they come with a couple tools instead of just weapons and stuff, you know. I could see this. Maybe it's like a little dowsing machine or something. Yeah, we'll stick this gun on. We'll check this out. So, I mean, there's both guns, but maybe both guns on one is a little unnecessary. Yeah, I quite like that. Here, we'll take this piece off and we'll stack her with both her beautiful, beautiful weapons. I think the best place for this thing is probably just going to be this underarm port here. I'll just shove it in there. Yeah, that works. And then now she can hold both her big guns. Yeah! She's a badass chick with a couple of big honking guns. Love this. She's so cool. Honestly, I really liked her in the War for Cybertron show that was on. I thought she was cool. She was good. It was kind of tragic with her and Optimus. Like Optimus, like, and she obviously really, really liked him and stuff. And he was just kind of like, you know, the way they depicted Optimus and Megatron, they were just both like, not the heroic sort of leader that we're used to from Optimus. You get, and then Megatron's almost like a Doctor Doom-esque kind of character in this too, where he's kind of like, oh, I'm doing this to protect my people. I got to do evil shit to protect it, and oh, I wouldn't have to do evil shit if Optimus wasn't, you know, getting in the way. So blah 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 blah. But yeah, I did like their dynamic. There's probably the most fleshed out relationship in the whole show. But yeah, I've probably talked about my gripes with that series a lot, and, you know, especially when it was on. But I mean, it's visually, it's stunning and beautiful, and I loved the design of all the characters and toys that came out of it. Definitely needed more episodes, more time to develop characters. Like even just spotlight episodes on single characters would have been so cool. But it was just like they had so much ideas just packed into, like, you know, basically what was it, like six episodes each, so like 18 episodes, I think. They had to fit a lot of story into a very tight, you know, thing, and to fit a lot of characters into it as well. So it did suffer a little, but in any case, we'll get back to that. Let's get into the next figure we got to unbox.
Let's go.
All right, now we got Kickback. My first, well, not my very first Insecticon, but I did manage to get one loose from the Combiner Wars series, or I think it was Scrapnel. And actually, I really liked that figure. I thought he was cool, but really impossible to find the other two because they came out a lot like earlier. And so I was really stoked when they announced this guy, because I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get a whole new set of badass looking ones, and they'll be properly scaled. So voila, here we go. And we also they announced, actually I think it's even probably in stores now, or hitting stores. I just not any store near me, of course. But we're getting a new Scrapnel as well, and hopefully they'll announce the Bombshell soon. That would be very, very cool. But we'll just have to be patient and just hope that that's in the works, you know. But for now, I mean, here's the cool box art for Kickback. Looks friggin' badass on the side here. Obviously, it looks incredible here. And on this side, we have this sort of Decepticon equivalent of the art. So I was putting these two together. And so you have the Autobots here and the Decepticons here. I guess the multiverse characters. They look really cool, honestly. The art has been like exceptional for the Legacy line and for the Siege line. So I'm really been happy about that. Once again, I did want to wait to open this guy till I actually got all 3 of the Insecticons in hand, but damn it, it's just taken for so long, and it's just like it's so impossible. Like the restocking of these figures in, you know, Walmart or whatever, or wherever you can buy these, is just ridiculous. It takes so long for them to get out of here. So I don't mind just getting ahead and getting you guys some more content here, and then we'll eventually do an unboxing, hopefully with both Shrapnel and Bombshell at a later date. But yeah, here we go. So he's looking cool. Love these weapon pieces, these big sword things, and then oh, that gun! Look at the paint apps on that gun. That's so cool. Yeah, there we go. There it is. That is it. Okay, I think this should be good to go. There we go. Put that back there for now. Get rid of these little extras. And now we'll have our first impressions. Okay, so figure I've had on ice for quite a while, so this is extremely cool to finally be having him out of the package. Oh, look at that. These are so cool. Look at the way this effect is, and I love the translucent on the chest. It just makes it look kind of like he's got some, you know, I don't know, organicness to him or something. I don't know, like some gelatin looking bug goo inside of him. These guys are so cool. I always thought the Insecticons were an interesting kind of faction of Transformers lore or whatever, because obviously, like, you know, the Decepticons tend to use them to their advantage, but really they're an entity in themselves. You know, they're kind of rogue entities that you know, there's many versions. There's obviously the original cartoon depicted them as just like 3 kind of you know, 3 Stooges type characters. They're just like a couple of dummies, and that Megatron can manipulate. But then also you have the Transformers Devastation game, which depicts them as like a massive swarm, which I actually think there was a section of the show that did depict them as that as well when they got cloned or something. I don't know. But I love the idea of them just being a massive swarm that, like, you know, they all have to kind of deal with in a way. And maybe, like, yeah, the Decepticons created them, or it was like one of Shockwave's experiments in cloning that just caused them to multiply. Now they're just a scourge on the galaxy. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. But just as original characters too, they, you know, I quite like that. And there's a lot of ways you can tell a story where it's like, oh, maybe the originals still exist, but the clones are like mindless. So, but yeah, this looks epic. It looks very cool. Already striking a dope pose. Let's go check out some of these accessories. Cool. All right. So here we have the cool little pea shooter that he comes with, or maybe it's not a pea shooter, but it's some kind of machine gun thing. It's got this Tommy gun kind of clip right here, so maybe he's would end up going, it might be some kind of automatic laser gun, but I just really dig, you guys saw like my reaction, like I immediately nerded out about just the color, you know. I like this shiny purple that they've implemented here. Usually you just get like a blank, you know, one color sort of weapon, so having this this little paint app here is a nice touch, you know. Even the handle's black instead. So they really did went the extra mile, I think, for these Insecticon figures. Like, I think these ones, whoever was working on them must just be a super fan, because they really did a good job. And even the arm technology too. Like, here you have, this is, I guess, part of the transformation. These parts split apart, but not only that, they do have a swivel here too in the arm, despite having also this articulated and this articulated. So like that's fucking crazy. Like, you know, sometimes you think like, oh, maybe there is a reason these figures are so expensive now. And it's just like the technology they use, or the engineering that it takes to come up with this kind of stuff, to bring these characters from the cartoons and make them more accurate to the cartoon, but still like homage to the toys. Like, you know, maybe there is something there, but at the same time, like, I would like a little bit of a discount here and there, for fuck's sakes. So badass. This is really, really cool. I love a Transformer that comes with a sword. These are really, really cool swords. It's got dual wielding here, and
what's really this is like an amazing feature, and I wish this feature was something that a couple of the other sword wielding characters like Megatron, he came with that big sword, but like having the ability to move your arm like this for the sword, even though this thing sticks out, like this is a big deal because this can really help you kind of pose these swords and really makes a bigger difference on just how well you can pose these things. And I feel like if you have a sword wielding character, you got to have it be able to like point forward like this. I know that I gave Megatron's sword to Astro Train. His got the same kind of arm ability, and that basically it makes it so much cooler for posing. It just adds to it a lot. I was trying to remember the one that transforms into like a helicopter, but also into a car. But he also could have used this kind of same arm articulation. Yeah, I mean this is still really cool, and I love translucent stuff too. So it just like really kind of pops. I really quite like the way that looks. And then here's another really awesome part about this. His weapon stores so nicely back here. It's so cool. Just like pops right in there, and then the clip kind of fits in there perfectly. And it's nicely stored away. Just looks like a nice little backpack piece. And yeah, I mean this is so well thought out. He's got the ankle rocking as well, so you can really get some cool posing with this guy. Yeah, this is great. This is probably one of my favorite of the new Decepticons that they've released. Looks very, very cool. And here's a little comparison of these figurines, all kind of posed next to each other. Height difference, I think, is pretty spot on. I really think that this is perfect in every way. I think Bumblebee, he's nicely scaled. They got enough articulation even at his size. That it really works out. And same with Kickback here. He's got just a good sculpt and all. Like I like the squareness to it as well. Like they've really been capturing that like 80s sort of Generation 1 like blockiness that they sort of had in this line. The way his chest is very square, the shoulders, same with her. They even brought it with her. Like that is really excellent how they've done that. And I like how his wings kind of store away. They almost look like a cape from the side. That looks very rad. Same with him. He's got nice kind of proportions here. The backpack actually adds, I think, that little missing bit of thickness to him as well. Yeah, that's good. I mean, the gap here is a little bit disconcerting. Like I said, I wish this part maybe folded down or something. Maybe it is possible for it to do that. I don't know yet. But yeah, quite like that. Here's a pretty cool comparison. I think a lot of people have this, at least one of these kind of seekers, so you can kind of see how he scales well. He comes up to his hips, so he's definitely puny in comparison, but that definitely makes him harder to hit, right? So I think this does match up pretty well. And we can pull in some other guys here. So here's Kickback next to Starscream. Love this Starscream too. He still holds up, I find. I just think like the proportions just look so dope, and I just like the way it's very Star Wars-esque, the way his transformation looks. Like you can tell it was definitely inspired by a lot of the concept art from those kind of films. But I think this looks like a nice setup here. It's going to be really cool to have like 3 Insecticons, 3 Seekers, 3 of those spyglass. The camera. What the hell is the camera called? I always forget. I can't remember anybody's name today. But I did remember this guy's name. This is Springer, and this is the one I was talking about, who I said I wish that his arms did the same thing as his, where they could sort of bend forward like that to point the sword forward. But his do rotate, which I guess is one thing that this doesn't have. I wonder, this didn't end up having the rotating. But I mean, that bend forward is actually, I would say, even more impressive. But yeah, Springer, don't forget that. And here's a pretty good comparison with Blur and RC. RC being kind of the contemporary modern female body type for Transformer toys. As you can see, like the leg is a big difference. You know, obviously she can be a little bit trickier to stand, having the really thin ankles, but it definitely looks good on this figure too. I actually think these two pair pretty well together. It might be a fun little team up where you'd have RC being kind of like, you know, perky and fun, and then maybe you've got a more sort of serious, like straight-laced Elita 1 here. So that's pretty funny pairing, but I think they look good together, you know. And yeah, Blur obviously, you know, about another average size male sort of Transformer robot. And I'll just pop Bumblebee in here too, just to get another little size comparison, but it looks pretty cool. Here, I'll even throw in a little Decepticon Minicon so you can kind of see, you know, he's not the tiniest in the set, right? But some other mighty little characters here. This guy, maybe this guy as well. Yeah, I like that. Really cool. Sweet. Now we have them all transformed. They look pretty cool. I like how they all kind of turned out. I'll do them maybe one at a time here. So starting with Bumblebee, I mean, yeah, he's a pretty cool, sleek design. It's nice how, yeah, just everything is just so smooth the way it all packs in together. Even under here, like he looks really nice and packed in here. I could probably even turn the head around before finishing the transformation. That way you just don't even see the face. But no, it looks really cool. It's a great little hover vehicle. The one thing is I can't quite get this to kind of sit in there. It looks like it's supposed to pop in there, but I just couldn't quite get it to kind of pop in there. So I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But either way, it still looks really cool, and it's very futuristic. I think it's definitely going to fit in nicely with some of my other Cybertronian modes that I have of these characters. And even for a futuristic car, you can definitely see this in the alternate 2005 of the Transformers movie world or whatever. So yeah, very, very cool. And we'll take a quick look at Elita 1 here. Her transformation was pretty simple. It's actually nice how easy she kind of pops into this form. You know, there's definitely a lot of Transformers that are a lot more complicated, and you can't really play on the go and have it transform really quickly like they do in the shows and stuff. I would say this here is a little bit scary, how it's kind of made of a very flimsy plastic. I guess it's meant to be so that it can pop off easy, so that way it doesn't snap off. So hopefully that's the case. We don't have to worry about that. And then on the bottom here, it's kind of the same similar deal as well, what's her name? A similar deal to RC, where you pretty much have the full figurine just underneath here. But definitely not as bad as she was. That's the worst part about RC is how bad her transformation is, just like a shell. I think having these thicker calf leg parts definitely helped. I will say that the head feels a little weird. Like I wish maybe the head folded into this chest or something, because I wanted to have it turned this way. Like if I pop this up, see, I'm trying to get it to be out of the way, but it looks like the chin is like just scraping against this little back part. I think probably the best thing I could do is just keep it like this, even though it looks kind of weird. I mean, you won't see it if it's like this, but it's just like, you know, like she jumps a thing and it's like, there she is. So it's, in any case, like this is definitely a much better version of a vehicle mode comparatively, so I'm pretty stoked about that. This was the one thing I thought was kind of dumb, was this little thing, but luckily, like when I saw it in pictures and stuff, but luckily it's removable, so you don't even have to have that there. I think it looks way better. Like this was kind of cheesy, having like something that looked like the top of her head, like sticking under the top of it. No, this is much cooler. I think this looks a lot more cohesive. I feel like I still didn't transform this correctly. I don't know. There might be something wrong here, because this looks like it's supposed to clip into something. It looks okay. It's passable. But yeah, so that's her. Stick her little top thing back on there. And last but not least, we'll take a look here at Kickback. Kickback, in another pretty easy transformation. It wasn't too difficult. It's basically you're just swapping out the arms for these little tiny bug arms and folding the regular arms up. And then this head part, like obviously his head is literally right here. And it's just these things that kind of go up and down. And then it becomes the bug head, which the bug head looks really, really good actually. And you got his little gun here, which that works out just like the cartoon. That looks really cool. And obviously the translucent wings are just fantastic. Yeah, I mean, and then, oh man, I just like the red ports here. There's just such good detailing on this one. They really just, I think it's the Studio Series specifically, like they always go that little extra mile to really get those details in. Like it's like the one step before you get to the masterpiece, you know. But you know, I won't scoff too much at any of the War for Cybertron stuff or even the Legacy. Like the Legacy stuff, a lot of it is pretty tight comparatively. So I think that we're in a pretty good era for Transformers figurines, and I'm excited to see what they'll put out next. But let's do a few more quick comparisons here. We'll pull out some other Transformers. Wow, yeah, I'm really loving how he stacks up with these guys here. Yeah, right? I mean, I think that fits pretty well. You know, he's short, small, tiny little hovercraft character. I can definitely see him fitting in with these characters, spinning around. Next to Optimus, just so iconic, right? Like having Optimus and Bumblebee is obviously one of the most iconic duos that you can see in the series. But you know, he definitely looks cool next to Ironhide and Prowl here. I think, I mean, we're just so lucky to have this era of Transformers. Like this looks so cool. It makes me excited to get into that stop motion series as well. And you know, I'll put something out eventually. I wanted to feature like 9 different planets from Cybertron lore. Some of the ones that were featured in the Unicron trilogy, but also just a mixture throughout Transformers lore. But I almost want to draw comparisons to the 9 realms within Asgardian mythos. Some kind of like comparison to that, I think, is kind of what I was thinking of would be cool. Maybe they're all linked by the space bridge. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of those kind of ideas, what kind of planets you'd like to see featured in a stop motion series. Because, you know, with green screen and some of the practical stuff, like really the sky's the limit for what I can do nowadays. I've really come a long way for my set designs. Alright, and here's another little comparison we have. Elita 1 with Chromia, Hotshot, and Sideswipe. Yeah, these look really cool together. I think her vehicle mode is nice. Like it actually does seem kind of like Cybertronian-esque as well. You know, it's like somewhere between like some kind of sports car and maybe like dune buggy kind of feel. I don't know. I'm trying to pinpoint it, but no, I really like it. I mean, she's about the same size as Sideswipe over here as far as like sort of boxiness and squareness. Chromia here is a little bit longer, obviously, compared to her, but I like the way they look together. I could see them driving along the road, you know, having some kind of conversation and, you know, talking about the mission or whatever, but yeah, they definitely stack up nicely. I think these are really great. Probably the best that Hasbro's put out so far for female Transformers. So, you know, I really do hope that they do revisit the rest of like the kind of fembots from back in the G1 series and get those teammates updated. Because yeah, like I said, I did have those other ones for a while, but I just found that you know, they were pretty out of date molds, and they just weren't really as fun, you know. All right, so for comparison wise, I mean, I don't have much other robot animal characters outside of Grimlock here, so aside from the Beast Wars, but I like to kind of keep the Beast Wars in like a separate category than their ancient counterparts here. But we do have Grimlock, which he's a great comparison for another famous animal transformer from the first generation. And then we got Thundercracker over here. It's a pretty standard figure. I think most people, I think between Thundercracker and maybe Prowl and Ironhide, like those are some of the most widely available molds for for Transformer figures. So a lot of people likely have this one in hand, so you can at least see how big this one kind of stacks up, especially in beast mode here. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very cool. I think it's going to be really great, obviously, when we get the full set of these guys. You know, there was a point where I wanted to collect all of the Dino bots, but I sort of kind of gave up on that one just because they're so big and so expensive. I just didn't have space for it. But a part of me thinks I might kind of go back and maybe do it one day or something. Like, so another one of the planets I wanted to feature in my stop motion series was the Jungle Planet from the Cybertron series from back in 2005. So I think here I have a little write up with all the names. It's called Animatros, the Jungle World. So I had it kind of, you know, the idea that that's where a lot of these characters would end up. So maybe the Seacons, what are those? The Predaking and all his little like parts that make up that combiner, and obviously the Dinobots. You'd have Grimlock maybe ruling as one of the you know, it would be a bunch of different tribes, and so I think that might be a cool environment too, and then maybe have it have extreme weather conditions too, so that's something to contend with. So this is all stuff that's like written on the Wikipedia, but I just like to kind of expand on it and stuff within my series, and really kind of give each world a specific, you know, look and feel, and then like the inhabitants have them be very specific as well. So we'll see as I kind of go along, like how many more of these sort of robot, you know, but not quite the Beast Wars era Transformers I can gather. Like, I know way back Ape Face came out, and so did Double Dragon, or I forget what his name, Snapdragon. Double Dragon's a video game. But yeah, like those would have been kind of cool, but they're just harder to come by now, and it's just hard, right? Like, you try to have you know, have a good decent collection, but also not like basically spend every single cent you have on figurines. But it's like I'm very ambitious with my storytelling, and I always want to create like massive like interconnected worlds and stuff, you know. So if you've been watching my other Bionicle series, like I definitely have a massive amount of characters for that. Same for the Marvel. So I mean, Transformer, that's why I'm taking, it's a lot more of a slower burn for me getting this Transformer series out, because I really want to make sure I have all the pieces in place first before I actually go through with it, and then be able to really come out with a really cool story for that. But for now, you'll be able to get lots of little shorts. Like, I definitely like doing the shorts. You'll get a short within this unboxing, because that's something I've started to do with my unboxing videos. I just feature a nice couple little animation shorts with the figurines that I just unbox. So that's kind of another way to get myself practicing animation, as well as just getting you guys more animation content on the channel too, which I know is like the most popular thing, is just seeing these figures in action, right? And I love seeing it too, so yeah, I'll definitely put in the work.
Oh, why won't Bugbot stay still?
Loser.
Kind of like thinking of these two as sort of like brothers in a way. You got Bumblebee as sort of the naive, kind of young little brother, and then you got Hotshot, who is kind of the bad influence, you know. He's sort of, you know, he's like, I'll dare you to, you know, let's go out and we'll jump the couple dunes, and then Bumblebee will be like, I don't know, maybe we should check with Optimus first, and he's like, come on, don't be a baby. And so, like, I think that'll be a fun kind of duo. You know, obviously, like, both of these are like kid appeal characters that were invented to just, yeah, basically do exactly that, to, you know, have a relatable young sort of impetus character. And so I kind of like playing with the idea of these characters sort of, you know, maybe actually being at different stages of that kind of development.
Hey, Bumblebee. Hotshot, cut it out! Come on, let's get in some trouble. Found the perfect jump. Get us over the canyon.
I don't know. I feel like we should wait for Optimus.
Oh, come on, don't be a baby. I'm not a baby. Well, let's see what you're made out of then. 1.
Whoa,
Go!
Hey, I'm not ready. Whoa. We're not gonna make it. We're alive. That's awesome.
It was Hotshot's idea. Come on.
That's just prime.
So in my stop motion series, I definitely want to have sort of these three characters kind of all interacting and being a part of it all at the same time. And like I said, yeah, they'd be at sort of different developments of that sort of impetus kind of upstart character, where obviously Bumblebee starts out as kind of being the most naive of them all, and kind of the young sort of kind of scared to get out there. And then you have Hotshot, who's like, you know, ready to take the risks and kind of getting out there and you know, trying to prove himself. And then of course, you know, Hot Rod is now kind of has had a lot of that character development, and he's sort of matured a little bit, but he's still trying to be seen as, like, you know, Optimus Prime's kind of equal, you know, at this point. And here, let's put Optimus over here. Yeah, that's kind of a cool shot. And yeah, so you have Optimus, you know, still probably, you know, he's given a little bit more responsibility. I mean, he kind of maybe runs his own team now, and that's sort of where I was thinking, like, the kind of story I'd like to tell, and then definitely have this sort of play with that dynamic. You know, one of the things I really liked about, you know, the Energon series was that you got to see Hotshot and Optimus sort of on screen together, and you got to see that similar dynamic play out. But here I'd like to have it kind of be these three characters all sort of showcasing the different developments of that kind of young character that's now come into his own. So we'll have some fun with that for sure. Oh yeah, and I actually just realized I gave him another shot at transforming, and it turns out he has this this little flip up thing here on his to cover up the face here. So yeah, I remember thinking it was a little odd that his face was just exposed, but no, this flips right up and it tucks right in there, and then yeah, conceals the robot face, and you just got the bug face. Very, very cool. Okay, and here's a little comparison we have with Elita 1 and Chromia here. We got Optimus in the background, so we'll get to him in a sec, but I think these pair really, really well together. I quite like the look. I was at first kind of thinking that Chromia's head looked a little bit small in comparison to Elita's, but you know, the more I look at it, it's actually not bad. It's kind of just more to do with the design of her helmet kind of thing that makes it seem a little bigger. To be honest, their faces are actually about the same size, so yeah, I quite like this. The color contrast is quite striking too, with the reds and so the tealish blue. And I love the way this gun like looks here. This extra gun that Elita comes with. It looks really cool and matches in with Chromia's color scheme too. So I quite like that. Kind of on camera here, it sort of blends in a little bit more, but it's actually like quite vibrant in real life here. But yeah, you got a couple cool new guns here with her, which really, you know, what I really like about, you know, these Transformer accessories is how you can interchange them with other characters. So you can totally deck out one Transformer with a ton of artillery and stuff, and I really like you know, the idea of that kind of thing. So yes, theirs is a tragic romance, Elita 1 and Optimus Prime, you know, separated and both thought each other dead for a long, long time. And I know in even the Siege series, their love is pretty strained and almost non-existent in a way, because you know, they make Optimus such a, you know, blind, you know, warmonger in a way, which, you know, not a super great depiction of him in that. But you know, I see where they were going with it. You know, that it takes two to tango, and Megatron and Optimus, obviously, you know, their feud prolonged it. But obviously, like, Megatron was a fucking total D-bag, and I don't know why. In reality, like, if they just all worked together, they probably could have solved their little energy crisis. But in any case, this love story here is, you know, doomed from the start. And yeah, I mean, I am happy to have them both together here, and I'll definitely like to write some interesting little shorts or just kind of develop their romance a little bit more in my stop motion series. And you know, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I really do think they make a cute little pair, especially these two figurines. I think they do stack nicely together. I have her on a little bit of a pedestal here on my Pokemon Platinum, super rare platinum game worth $120,000, of course. Any Pokemon game. But no, I think they do kind of look good together, right? And they're definitely a nice little cute couple. I definitely think the original cartoon had a way better version of it than that Siege series had. But yeah, we'll see what I got on my sleeve. We'll get to that story eventually, you know. Lots and lots of ideas brewing for my Transformers series, so stay tuned.